Twist of Fate, Monday the 28th of February 2022. Full update. Make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified for more updates. Without wasting your time, let's start our today update. Sushma tells Pragya that she had taken police to Abby's house as he did their car accident and their car is in bad shape. Pragya asks if he got hurt. She says she is asking as he can ask for compensation, so we shall be prepared. She asks what happened after you took police there. Sushma says I asked Abby to either give 1 lakh rupees for the car damage loss or get himself arrested. She says I had taken manager there and says he did wrong by giving our car to him. She says she asked them to pay the money. Pragya says you have done wrong. Sushma says it was necessary as I don't want Abby to be near you, don't forget that he tried to kill you. Pragya says I can't understand, the person who wanted to kill me then, saved me in the Mera mansion and also had beaten Gautam to save me. She says his intention was to save me. Sushma gives her phone and goes. Pragya calls Abby and finds his number switches off. Song plays, Teri Meri Kahani Hai. Abby thinks of Pragya questioning him about past. He thinks what she wanted to tell. I shall meet her and asks what she was telling me on phone. He thinks this is possible when I don't go to jail. For that I have to arrange 1 lakh rupees and slap money on manager's face. Pragya looks on. Abby thinks there was pain in your question, and hopes to relieve her pain. He thinks he will answer her very soon. Pragya thinks about Abby coming to her while a romantic song plays, Na Jaan Kya Dundhe Ankian. Abby says you want to hear what I want to say. Pragya asks what. Abby says I love you. They kiss on each other cheeks and hug. It is Pragya's dream. Sushma comes and wakes up Pragya. Pragya wakes up. Shagan comes there and says good morning. Pragya says good morning. Sushma says she thought to have breakfast with her. She says I thought nightmares will wake you up. Pragya says she didn't see any bad dream today, but saw good dream instead and wants it to continue. Sushma asks what did you see? Pragya gets thinking. Pallavi gives something to Vikram. Vikram thanks her. Riya comes there and tells that she brought the support stand so that he can stand holding him. Vikram thanks her. Riya asks her to call them mom and dad. Dida says it seems Pragya and Ranbir have come. Doorbell rings. Dida opens the door and finds Teji. She says you have come. Teji hugs Pallavi and says she got her ticket. Aaron comes there holding the luggage. He teases Teji. Pallavi says she is my sister. Sid comes there and greets his mom and dad. Pallavi asks Teji to meet Riya, Sid's wife. Teji says you both look good and asks where is Ranbir and his wife. Dida says they went to bring their stuff. Doorbell rings. Dida says it seems they have come and asks Pallavi to come. She takes the kalash pot while Pallavi brings Aarti. They open the door and find Ranbir and Prachi. Dida says she was waiting for them since long. She asks Pallavi to do their Aarti. Pallavi recalls telling Ranbir not to return even if they want. Sushma asks what did she see? She says you can share with me. Pragya says she thought that she had a morning after a long night. She says she will freshen up and come. Sushma gets a call. Pragya thinks it is good that he stopped the auction, as their memories are attached to it and she can call it herself. She thinks she has seen the reflection of old Abby. Sushma asks her to come and have coffee. She tells that she has to take charge of the new office, which they have taken over from Gautam. Pragya says okay. Sushma asks her to leave Abby's matter to me and tells that she will handle him. Pragya goes to get ready. Sushma thinks Pragya was talking in Abby's favor as she was drunk, thinks she has hold herself, thank God. Pragya thinks to wear Abby's favorite color dress. Tanu sees Aaliyah seeing something in tablet. Aaliyah says she has taken it from neighbor and researching about Pragya. She says Pragya didn't do anything except your arrest. She says neither Bai nor Pragya have interest in each other. She says since Sushma came here to get Bai arrested, he must be upset with her. Aaliyah says how can a teacher become an entrepreneur? She says she wants to know how. Tanu says I will snatch Pragya's money and then I will become rich and she will be poor. She says then we will control her. Aaliyah says we can ruin Pragya's name and says her company share will fall down and it will be closed. Tanu says this seems to be impossible. Aaliyah says we want a loop and crack to make an entrepreneur as poor. Tanu says I am with you, search those things, we will take Pragya to her right place. Sushma coming home and handovers vegetable to Shagan. She then calls Lakshmi. Bhagya Lakshmi comes inside holding the vegetables. Pragya asks Sushma what did she bring along with vegetables and says sorry for the bad joke. Sushma says it is sometimes good and tells that her mood was off just as she stepped out of house. Pragya asks what had happened. Sushma and Lakshmi sit on the sofa. Sushma says she had an argument with someone, it is good that she met Lakshmi. She says vegetable vendor gave vegetable in a think paper bag, it had fallen on the road, so Lakshmi helped her. Pragya says it is good that Lakshmi came home and says it seems you help people much. Bhagyalakshmi says even my mom asks me why do I help someone so much. Sushma says I am sure that Lakshmi will be with the person who needs help. Pragya says I see a spark, lamplight in her eyes and blesses her for happiness always. Sushma says Lakshmi always gives happiness to everyone and says wherever you go, you will fill the house with happiness. Bhagyalakshmi says you have given me a big blessing for a small help. Sushma asks shall I talk to someone about your alliance? Bhagyalakshmi says my marriage is fixed already and she will come there to give them card. Pragya welcomes Bhagyalakshmi and says welcome to the family. Bhagyalakshmi thanks her. Pragya congrats and hugs her. Pragya and Gautam see the presentation that their resort is giving special package to the newlyweds couple. Pragya thinks of Abby and thinks why is she thinking about him. Abby comes there and serves water to everyone in the meeting room. Pragya feels his touch when he gives her water. Abby also feels her touch and gets thinking. She thinks I can feel, it is his touch only. Abby thinks he feels sensation with her touch only and thinks why am I thinking this, Pragya can't be here. Pragya also thinks he is not here, then why is she feeling his touch? He bends down to take the glass in her hand and looks at Pragya. Pragya also looks at him and gets up from her seat. Gautam sees Abby and says hello, I am talking to you. Teji asks Pallavi why did she stop. Dida says Pallavi stopped as she wanted me to do their aarti, being the elder of the house. She takes aarti from Pallavi and does Ranbir and Prachi's aarti. She asks Prachi to step her feet inside as if Lakshmi is entering the house. She asks Teji to bring the kumkum thali. Teji brings the kumkum thali. Dida asks Prachi to step inside the house. Prachi kicks the kalash and walks inside with Ranbir and puts her feet in kumkum thali. She gets emotional as she walks inside with Ranbir. Ranbir wipes her tears. Prachi and Ranbir touch Vikram's feet and take his blessings. Then they take Pallavi's blessings. Pallavi hesitantly keeps hands on their heads. Teji gets thinking. Then they take blessing from Teji and her husband. Ranbir hugs Sid. Dida says two Baras have come home. He says one Jurani and Jethani there and one here. She signs them to hug. Prachi hugs Ria and gets emotional. Ria looks on. Gautam asks Abby if you didn't hear. Abby says you are here. Gautam says what are you doing here, you are the one. Abby says whom I have beaten. Gautam tells the employees that they will have the meeting later. Everyone goes out. Gautam asks how dare you to talk to me like this. Abby says I can dare to beat you, so can't I dare to talk to you. Gautam says your tongue works fast. Abby says my hands and legs are more faster. Gautam says I should have got you arrested that day. Abby says you should have called police, but you didn't, else I would have told police, why did I beat you? Gautam says you can't talk to me like this. Abby says I can talk to you like this and anyhow. Gautam says you learnt some lines in English and showing me attitude. Abby says I can bash you in any language and says I am born with attitude. Gautam asks how did you come here, get you, I don't need water served by your dirty hand. Abby asks him to talk to him with respect else. Pragya says Gautam please. Gautam asks Pragya to let him handle him. His hand touches the glass and the water falls down. He then blames Abby for irritating him and making the water fall down. Abby says you have done the same thing in farmhouse. He says if you had talked about your wine which I told, then I would have told you. Gautam says you have stolen it. Abby says if I had stolen then would I have told you. They argue. Pragya asks Abby what is he doing here. Abby says he is appointed here as bodyguard, cum driver, cook, cleaner etc., by the owner. Pragya says I didn't appoint you. Abby says you haven't appointed me. Gautam says she is the owner of the company. Abby says she is not my owner. He says I told you about this man, what are you doing with her? Gautam asks how dare you talk to Pragya ji like this. Pragya says I know him and knows how to handle him. She asks Abby to come to her cabin and goes. Abby smiles and tells Gautam that she is calling him in her cabin. In the cabin, Pragya asks what are you doing here? Abby says I was told that someone else told that owner is someone else. Pragya says but this company is mine now. Abby says congrats. Pragya says she didn't hire him. Abby says Nihal, manager appointed me. Pragya says he is Gautam's manager. Abby says he hired me. Pragya says you wanted to be my bodyguard and driver. Abby says Sushma auntie came to my house to ask for the damage. Pragya says that problem is solved. Sushma auntie got the money from the garage manager. Abby says garage manager told that I have to give him money with interest. He says today in the morning. Garage manager came with me with Nihal and offered me job to return his money. Pragya calls Nihal and asks him to come to her cabin. Abby asks if you don't trust me. Pragya says I don't want you to be around, if you are near me. Abby says then you get restless. Pragya says wrong. He says your anger goes away then also you act to be angry. Pragya thinks of herself telling the same words. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure you subscribe, and click on the notification bell to get notified for more updates. Like, comment and share. To change your